scrutiny after Israel flagged a possible South Asia network. The big question is Dhaka ignoring the warning or becoming and allowing Bangladesh to become a security threat for India. In on point two, India's Brahmastra, world's envy, global demand for BrahMos peaks from UAE to Thailand. More than a dozen countries are now watching India's BrahMos to counter China's aggression. And in on point three, the Palestinian envoy speaks on Gaza, the ceasefire test and the fear of a wider West Asia war. Is peace still possible? What does Palestine want from India? And now let's take a quick look at the headlines. In a major move, government revises FCRA penalties, tightens rules for foreign funded NGOs. NGOs must declare social media accounts, stick to specified activities, political content barred. The rules have become strict. High drama in Tamil Nadu Assembly as Chief Minister Vijay mimicked MK Stalin, launching a sharp attack on DMK, accusing them of looting public funds under the cover of party funds. President Draupadi Murmu confers Padma Awards 2026 on singer Alka Yagnik, actor Mammootty, former Indian cricket team captain Rohit Sharma and several other personalities included. US President Donald Trump claims that Iran has agreed to allow nuclear inspections long into the future, adds there would be no negotiations if Iran did not agree for inspection. The first question today is simple. Why is Bangladesh suddenly appearing in a conversation that began in Gaza? Israeli officials now claim Hamas-linked activity has been tracked in Bangladesh and Pakistan after the October 7th attacks. Since Hamas is a US-designated terror organization, this is not just a diplomatic issue, it is a serious security concern. According to credible reports, Dhaka religious event saw a figure linked to Hamas, the Taliban and Pakistan-based Islamist circles. If senior Hamas-linked individuals were allowed into Bangladesh, then the key questions are, who cleared their entry, who monitored their meetings, and who did Dhaka security establishment know? Muhammad Yunus's interim administration was welcomed globally as a democratic reset, but that optimism now faces a counterterrorism test. Support for Palestine is one thing, permissive space for Hamas-linked activity is another. For India, this is not a distant West Asia story. Bangladesh sits on India's eastern flank. Any overlap between Hamas-linked outreach and Pakistan-backed network could create new risk of radicalization, funding channels and cross-border coordination. Bangladesh must now come clean. Who entered, who invited them, and what activities took place. Silence will only deepen suspicion. If Hamas-linked networks are expanding eastwards, South Asia cannot afford to look away. On this issue, I'm joined by Suhas Chakma, Director Rights, Risk and Analysis, and Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhry, Editor Blitz, who joins me from Dhaka. Let me straight away go to Mr. Chaudhry first. Sir, I'm playing these visuals. They're credited to you. Is Al-Qaeda and Hamas becoming active in Bangladesh, and how come?
Thank you very much, sir. Al-Qaeda and Islamic State has been active in Bangladesh for many years, even when Sheikh Hasina was in power. But the sudden entrance of Hamas into the show is a new phenomenon which began during the Yunus regime. And as you have kindly mentioned, that Hamas is a global terrorist organization which is designated by the US, UK and the European Union. So the top kingpin of Hamas, like Khalid Mashal, he visited Bangladesh on September 7th, 2024, under the garb of attending a religious program. And he was accompanied, during the same trip, he was accompanied by a very large number of Hamas leaders. So Hamas in Bangladesh, and as you are showing now, the waving of Hamas flags, Al-Qaeda flags, and even Islamic State flags very openly in Bangladesh for the first time. It even didn't happen during Yunus regime. Thousands of flags are showing into the various parts of the country because Hamas has already established its footprint in this country. And also, Hamas is using Nepal, mountainous areas in Nepal as its training for its training purpose. And as you know that Hamas is trained by Pakistan in Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So why Hamas presence in Bangladesh poses serious security threat to India? In my opinion, it poses serious security threat to India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, of course Bangladesh, and also Myanmar, even Thailand and beyond. So this is a very serious situation. And BNP being in power, I mean a democratically elected government, it is allowing and facilitating these jihadist elements in publicly waving flags. And most alarmingly, sir, I would like to draw your kind attention to this particular video that you are showing. You can see this white flag with the Islamic
Okay.
verse, verse, and the Bangladeshi flag is also printed over there, meaning they are introducing a new flag of Bangladesh, Islamic Bangladesh, Caliphate Bangladesh. So they have pronounced Bangladesh as a caliphate, and this is very dangerous journey.
Okay, let me take opening comments from Suhas. Suhas, good to see you after a long time on the show. These visuals were provided to me by Mr. Chaudhary, and he said he's very worried. I said I'll do a show on it if Hamas and Al-Qaeda groups can openly roam the streets of Bangladesh, even in the ruse of being some sort of a social political activity. It still makes for a strong Indian concern. Suhas.
I think it's the beginning of the slippery slope. In Bangladesh, what we have to see or consider is that Sheikh Hasina is seen or was seen and projected herself as being secular, and the other forces being Islamic fundamentalists. And of course, if you are Islamic fundamentalist or pro-Islamic fundamentalist, then you have to give space to all sorts of groups. And that is what has happened. And there is no end to it. And at a certain stage, this what you could in the beginning consider as fringe elements, they almost take over the entire country, and you never can get back from that situation. And I think the best example for this is Pakistan. Because the moment Ziaul Haq started Islamization of the country, and of course, it suited Pakistan at that point of time because they were fighting the Soviets at the behest of the Americans. Then the entire Afghan war took place. Then Taliban came up. And if you look at today, after almost, 46, 47 years from 1979, when the first invasion of the Afghanistan by Soviets took place, actually Pakistan could not come out of it. So now we are in a situation, and I believe that Bangladesh cannot come out of it. And the only way the current government of the day will survive or will try to survive in the country is by opposing Sheikh Hasina. And because Sheikh Hasina is in our country, then of course, by projecting India as the enemy, then the fact that they have not provided the democratic space to the largest political party which brought independence to the country, obviously there is no way out for this mess which has been created possibly purposely by Dr. Yunus. So I think it's a concern not in immediate terms, but only from the security perspectives. But the way I see it, I think it will take a couple of decades for Bangladesh to come out of it. And country being Muslim majority, I mean, we know at certain stage, there is an interplay between religious identity and the linguistic identity. And I think linguistic identity is less assertive than the religious identity. I think we have to be very, very concerned, not only India as a country, but I think the Bangladeshi establishment, including the BNP, must realize that these are things which go out of hand, and there is no way you can't put the genie in the bottle.
Absolutely. But Suhas, now there is a different government. This is what they have, this is what they have inherited. But is it going to be a different affair under BNP?
No, I do not think so. I mean, BNP doesn't want it to be different because of the fact that BNP is the biggest beneficiary of the Army League not being allowed as a political party. And they shall continue as long as they can. whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and BNP has no inclination to, in a way, allow the Army League. So if you look at the trends of the governance in Bangladesh, the best example is whether this government of the day wants an independent National Human Rights Commission, which every Bangladeshi deserves. And you could see that, the government of BNP has not even appointed the members of the commission. So they are still continuing with the draft. And I'm saying this from the human rights perspective. So it's exactly like Muhammad Yunus. So what they have done is they have realized that Yunus, because he was more repressive than Hasina, because the human rights violations which took place under Yunus in 1.5 years' time is by far worse than Sheikh Hasina on a range of issues. Destroying the institutions, suppressing the journalists, mock trials, kangaroo courts, etc. So BNP had just toned down so that, it doesn't become an international issue of concern. But otherwise, nothing has changed. So I think that's the only fact which you have to keep in mind. And BNP is not in a mood to change the policy, and no political party wants their main rival to come back. And I think it's a wish of everybody that there shouldn't be any political party.
Are you saying BNP is allowing this, encouraging this?
BNP has to encourage this for their own survival, because BNP cannot have a policy where they seem to be secular. Then in that case, they will be B team of Hasina, and they don't want to be the B team of Hasina. They are surviving, or their main support base is actually the Islamic fundamentalists. And at this point of time, and in the long run, because Jamaat-e-Islami will be their main opponent till the Army League comes or is allowed, which is going to be very difficult, then they have to fight with the BNP, and they don't want the Army League, they don't want the Jamaat-e-Islami to take that stage or that space which is captured by the Islamists. So it's a policy of the BNP.
Absolutely, it's a policy of the BNP. But, before I close the show, the reason why I tried doing this was that, we do it when there's a big terror attack. Do you think, Shoaib, that it's affecting all the minorities in Bangladesh? There was a story which came out, they were opposed to a project where there was a Ram statue, there was a statue of other gods, and it was being objected by a lot of Islamists that why these tall statues are there. But then the clearance had come from the Bangladesh government, and the locals were opposed to it.
Actually, first of all, we need to understand that behind this Hamas presence in Bangladesh is Jamaat-e-Islami. And in Pakistan, the key patron of Hamas is Jamaat-e-Islami Pakistan. And while these Islamists are showing up openly in Bangladesh, just weeks before, as you mentioned, there was an attempt of demolishing the Hindu complex in Gaibandha district. And then at the same time, Jamaat-e-Islami's offshoot, a newly formed party, it went to attack the Indian High Commission, which was this procession was led by all prominent Jamaat-e-Islami leaders. So Jamaat has become very intolerant. They don't want to remain as opposition, and Jamaat wants to use these elements to unseat BNP and somehow capture power unconstitutionally, similarly as in Iranian style.
Okay. And let me play out the visuals of the statue. These were the statues that the Islamists were opposing and terrorizing, and I'm playing it because, these are the things which don't get reported. But the fact of the matter is that it is one thing to be a minority in Bangladesh, and it is another thing to practice your religion, which not only Hindus, but the Chakmas, the Buddhists, many other religious minorities which are not being talked about, undergo this sort of a stress. I thank you, Suhas. I thank you, Mr. Chaudhary, for joining me. But our coverage on Bangladesh is going to continue. It's a short break I'm going to take, but once I'm going to come back, we're going to talk about why BrahMos is a super hit.
Roots, thumb in your bones, rose be your amul, do then go for gold. Aage ओह नो, बहुत बोर लग रहा है।
Take a date, not bites.
नो एडेड शुगर, प्रिजर्वेटिव के बिना। डेट्स, बादाम, पिस्ता, काजू और शहद से तैयार किया गया लायन डेट्स नट बाइट्स।
Take a lion date, not bites.
India's BrahMos missile is no longer just a domestic defense success story. It is now becoming India's biggest calling card in the global arms market, from UAE to Thailand, from Philippines to Vietnam. More than a dozen countries are watching BrahMos closely. They want to buy BrahMos. Why do they want to buy BrahMos? Is it enough to cater to the needs of the countries like Thailand or Vietnam? Without wasting any more time, let me introduce my guest. I am joined by Air Commodore Dr. Ashminder Singh Bahal and Group Captain VN Jha.